Hello, everyone. So glad you're here. This is How to Speak Nebraskan. I'm excited for my guest tonight, Megan Goecke, formerly known as Megan Wagner. Did I say your name right?
Yep, Goki.
All right, sounds good. Megan lives in Kearney, and although my interviews have often been with individuals who I know, this is my first interview with someone from high school who I graduated with. Megan and I became good friends in high school through youth group activities at our church, and then we were also avid runners in cross country and track. We ended up having a lot of the same friends in common and common interests and activities and all of that. Here, several years ago, Megan and her family moved back to Kearney, where she opened a business, Hello Beautiful Bridal and Formal Wear, where she owns the shop and runs it with her sister Jenna. She owns actual now multiple businesses. She has been teaching classes to college students for several years. She's a mom. She's busy. She's a busy woman, and she's also just awesome to be around. Very motivated, very kind. And that's why I asked her to be on this podcast. So I'm so excited to have her here. So without further ado, welcome, Megan. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate you inviting me on. Thanks for thinking of me.
Absolutely. I was actually trying to think before this. Um, so since high school, we both went to UNL together, and
Right.
we ran into each other several times or would see each other periodically. I'm just trying to think how many times we've maybe seen each other in our adult lives, like a handful, but not much.
Handful because we moved around quite a bit. I moved to St. Louis. That's where our oldest daughter was born. So I was gone for a little while, and then as the kids were small, we moved and took every promotion on the way up until McKenna was starting kindergarten, and then we settled. So we were we were moving around a lot. It's probably
Yeah.
quite a while since we've actually been in the same time.
Yeah, I know. I know. I was trying to think of that. So, okay, you you went one thing that was kind of interesting after high school, like when we went to college and all of that, is that one thing I noticed about you that was really fascinating is how you really seem to kind of take on this kind of professional persona of some sort. It's not that you maybe didn't have that before, but we were high school students. You know, you don't like know what, we were just like good friends, right? We're in cross country and track wearing our, sweating in our cross country jerseys, on the
Yeah.
hot fall days and all of that too. So, but what did you do during like college and then like after college that kind of has led to this path of, you know, getting on this trajectory, I guess?
Yeah. So, I have this conversation a lot with my college students now. It took me a while to find what I was really interested in terms of a major. I originally was interested in teaching. Clearly, that's something I'm still interested in because I've come back to it. I think I just wasn't in the right format. And so I just took some different classes and ended up in an intro to advertising class. And that's where it really clicked for me because it was a combination of creativity, which I loved. I loved art in high school, and I was a art room rat. I mean, I lived
I recall
in
that. Yep, you were.
and so I mean, I just absolutely loved it. And but I knew that art wasn't my profession. And so advertising was a great combination of business and creativity. I knew that going into advertising, I would be working on the business side. And I felt like I really learned there that I had a skill set for influencing others and creating relationships in business. So I was also very fortunate that I did an internship with Clear Channel Communications, so the radio stations at the time in Lincoln. So that would have been 96 Kicks, the Blaze, the Eagle. At the time, there was a top 100 kind of contemporary radio station that was there. And so having that internship was incredibly influential for me because I had a great mentor, actually two great mentors, Pam Fecht and Tracy Munoz. And they really taught me what it meant to be one, just a professional woman, and two, a woman who's often in a room full of men. And so being able to just be comfortable and confident in those situations and really represent myself effectively. So I was very fortunate to have just fantastic mentors. They're still my mentors to this day. And that's really, I think, where I started to develop just the skill set to reach, high level in terms of management and leadership and ultimately business ownership.
Well, yeah, because as you talk like this, when I think of you, I have a few words that I think of you now. I could say more than just this. This does not sum you up because you are so much more than just this. But businesswoman, business owner, entrepreneur, super professional, super nice, full of life. I mean, like, how does that sound when you think of yourself as like a businesswoman, entrepreneur? Is when you hear just the word and like you can actually put yourself in kind of that sense, does that feel pretty cool?
I mean, it feels really comfortable. We're really fortunate that, we grew up with our dad being a fantastic example for us. So, remember my mom is a teacher. She she was an interpreter for a really long time. So and then moved back to Kearney Public Schools and retired as a teacher from there. And our dad has owned his construction company for 40 years. And his dad, our grandpa, owned an implements shop for around 50 years as well. And then our great grandmother owned a retail store for 50 years. She retired when she was 98. She lived to be
Wow.
104. So, she really has been an inspiration, but we're very fortunate that we have a long line of business owners that we've learned from. We went into this experience eyes wide open. It is not the glamorous thing that you see on Instagram, but that you ultimately are wearing all the hats in business, and you have to be willing to outwork everybody. So, and we're willing to do that. So,
Wow.
yeah,
See, that's just crazy. Again, when we were high school friends, we were just high school friends. I didn't realize your father owned a business and that you came from a long line of business owners. That's so awesome.
yeah.
So, so that is interesting. Okay, so tell me a little bit. So real quick, just to kind of sum up what you're doing, and then I'm curious to go back maybe and talk a little bit about how you started your business and just kind of all those things and how that got launched. Like you just said, you wear a lot of hats. But to kind of sum it up right now, so you own, did you say four businesses and teach? Like what do you do now? Like if I were to say, hey, what do you do for your occupation? It's like more than one thing. So how would you sum that up?
Yeah. So when we think about, I don't know if you use your strengths, your Clifton strengths in your daily
Uh-huh.
everything, but I do. And so when I think about my strengths, so my number one is competition. Probably shouldn't be very
No
surprising.
kidding. Wild.
I'm probably surprised. So competition, ideation, activator, maximizer. So, I am forward moving all the time very quickly. I sit in the house of influencing. So a lot of my top strengths are in the influencing themes. And when I think about just my career in general, I've always been in roles where I was influencing others. And everything that I do now is in some role that is influencing others. So people are like, how can you do all those things? Well, I'm not doing all of these things. There's places where I physically am, but there's also organizations that I am just influencing all the time, overseeing from a distance. So, my day to day, Monday through Friday, I'm in and out of West Center and Discovery Hall and kind of all around campus at UNK, and really have found a sweet spot being part of the College of Business and Technology. I mean, these are my people. These are my coworkers are just incredible. The people that I work with in the Career Center all also own businesses. And so we think from a very entrepreneurial perspective, which is awesome. And then just to be able to work with students as they continue to develop and hone their skills as young professionals is just it's a joy. And it's something that I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to do and will be able to do for a really long time. That's the thing that I love about it is like I can be a little old lady and keep doing this. So, um, but in the bridal shop, Jenna is my middle sister. Remember, I have two younger sisters. So Jenna is the middle sister, and then Mackenzie's the youngest. And Jenna's an incredible manager and very organized. She does a really good job of taking all of my ideation and ideas that are kind of sometimes pie in the sky and a little wild, and she recognizes the ones to say no to and funnel forward. And she's an incredible seamstress. And so she does a really good job managing the store. I am in there typically, physically in the store. I'll be in there in the evenings sometimes and definitely on the weekends. But in terms of just operations, I'm in and out of my email in the mornings. I always go over Hello Beautiful information, just tasks, whatever it is that we need. I just do that in the morning when I get up with my kids. But our most recent adventure, we opened a clinic we have some business partners that we're working with that we've known for 20 years. We met them when we moved to St. Louis and worked with them there and have been very close friends with them now. They have two clinics that are hormone therapy and weight management clinics one is in Omaha and one is in Council Bluffs. So they've been doing this for 11 years, and we're looking for the opportunity to expand into central Nebraska, and asked us if we would be interested in partnering with them. And I don't physically have the time, nor do I have the knowledge of actually working in a clinic. We have an incredible nurse practitioner and a med aide that is just fantastic. And so and the office manager is actually our business partner's youngest son, which he has opened clinics with them. And so he's really comfortable and confident in that role. But I have the local perspective and the local network. And so that's been really great. And that's been the place that I've been able to contribute in the organization. So we're really excited. We opened August 19th. So not even
Oh,
a month
wow.
into that, but things are trending really well, and just continuing to just work our network here to make sure that people learn about the business. So that's been a really interesting and exciting experience to start with, multiple owners involved and to move into an industry that I haven't worked in previously. So really fun learning experience. And then a few years ago, we have a different business partner. We selfishly want to be able to just chase the sun and move around to different lake houses when we're older,
Nice.
retired. And so we bought a lake house and started learning about the process of Airbnb as a business, which has been really an incredible learning opportunity, and purchased the property with one of our best friends. We learned very quickly how to communicate about our expectations of things like cleaning and preparing for guests. So this is a new level of friendship and marriage as well. So that's been a lot of fun too. So and then my husband is a professional firefighter. He actually works in Grand Island with Grand Island Fire Department, and he's been there for 12 years, which is ultimately what moved us back to Kearney. Growing up in Kearney, you live in Kearney, you don't.
Yeah, it never, even if you leave, you never leaves you. So if you can move back, you try to
Yeah,
move back.
yeah,
I know.
yeah, exactly. And having my parents here and my sisters here, we were excited to be able to move back and raise our kids here. So he is on his schedule is a rolling 72. So he's on 24, off 48. Firefighters do not sit still well at all. Most all of them that I know have, it is more common that they would have a business of their own or have some other job that they do in their days off, than to not. So my husband,
Interesting. I did not know this about firefighters.
yeah, yeah. They're adrenaline junkies, so they got to have something to do. And my husband comes from a long line of entrepreneurs as well. So he really has had this idea and mindset that, we would continue to work toward goals like building this Airbnb business and things like that. So he started a lawn service. He's had his lawn service for, let's see, I think he's going on 10 years as well. The bridal shop will be 10 years in December, and I think he's right the shade behind us. And so he has commercial and residential properties that he mows, and two of our children have worked for him, and then he's got a handful of other
Yeah.
fighters that come and work for him. So what started out as we have called it boat money. What started out as boat money has turned into a really a great business
A
for him.
full-fledged business. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
So how did
um,
you, okay. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
yeah. So we moved fast, but we call it working weird. we work in a way that maybe most people don't understand or think is really strange, but it's really a life that we love. And we don't miss our kids' events. That's our priority, and we make sure that we can go to everything. With three kids, that is very busy. They're all involved in something unique. So, but we just knew that we wanted to design an experience, a career, and a family, and a lifestyle that would allow us to be there and be present, but to also reach goals that we had set for ourselves and our family.
Well, yeah, because your job, you're not 8 to 5 at all. I mean, it just seems like you seem like you're just all day, morning until night, whereas you maybe are able to have a few little gaps here and there throughout the day, so that way you can maybe perhaps manage your schedule and that way to go to your kids' activities or whatever. But really, it's kind of probably, I don't know, I'll say 8 a.m. or maybe 7 a.m. or whatever, however early to till late, and it's just not a typical schedule because you're teaching your class, you're grading things, you're doing this, you're
Mhm.
going here, you're going to your business.
Yep,
That's
which
crazy.
I kind of like
So
that schedule.
so that's just, first off, I just knew you were going to have a lot more to add. That's why I was just kind of like, I'll be honest, Megan, just through social media, I knew you owned this bridal and formal wear place, but I knew there was more that you must be doing. And I don't know how. You just have this vibe. I'm just like, I just know she's a busy person. And even if that is the only thing you were doing, it would still be wonderful and it would be great. And I know it would keep you super busy. And so, but how did you open a bridal and formal wear place? Because like, did you have a background in that, or what made you decide for that to be your business?
So Jenna and I lived together in college. She was a marketing major, and we had started talking about the idea of a bridal shop, because there wasn't like a full service bridal shop in Kearney. And the one that we grew up going to and we got all of our prom dresses there. And ultimately later, ended up getting my wedding dresses at Chantilly. If you remember
Oh
Chantilly
yeah, Shanti,
downtown, it was like,
yeah,
kind of a boutique location. It had a upstairs where prom dresses were at, main floor was bridal, and then the basement was tuxes. Like I remember sitting with Harry Samuelson in the basement and picking out his senior prom tux. So,
really? Oh my gosh,
yeah,
that's wild. I went to what was the Tux place that was down kind of by U and K, like across the street. There was another, I don't
Liberty.
remember.
I know it was
Liberty. I think I
Liberty.
got my tux at Liberty. I just remember being, I mean, it's been so long ago, but I just remember being like on that street right there on, down on 25th. So yeah, I think it was Liberty.
Yeah.
So okay, so then you decided, so you saw there was just a need for it as kind of how it was.
Mhm. But we knew that we wouldn't want to open a bridal shop anywhere other than our hometown because we knew that we would need a network and we would need to be able to just establish a support system to just get a business off the ground. We felt like that was the right path for us. We did have an opportunity to purchase a different business, a formal wear business here in town. Ultimately, we learned it was a great learning opportunity in terms of negotiation and really sticking to our vision and the brand that we had in mind. And where we couldn't come to an agreement with that other business, I actually feel like was a blessing for us because then while it's taken longer, it takes a while to build your brand, and your customer base from the ground up. It's really true to who we are, and it's the people that we want to serve. So that has been really an incredible experience to learn and grow through. So we started really the process of looking for a location. I really had downtown on my heart, but at the time, if you think about like 2013, early 2014, downtown Kearney was in a very different place than it is now. So many
Hmm.
people, including classmates of ours like Patrick Moore, have come in and bought buildings and have worked on renovations and historic restoration, and it's just incredible downtown. But it needed a lot of work, and it wasn't in that place. There was a lot of empty storefronts at that time, and so it just didn't
Hmm.
quite like that was the right place for us, and just didn't, I don't know, whatever we felt like we were looking for, we weren't finding at the time. And so we ended up opening up on the north side of town. And we were really fortunate to work with Tim Norwood, who owns NP Realty. He had a location up there. So we're up kind of by Target, by Jersey's in Suntan City. So there was a good demographic there for us that we felt was already in the area. And so that worked well for us, and we were there for 5 years and happy with our location. I just happened to be downtown one day with my son for a parade, and there was an empty storefront right across from the World Theater, and I looked in, and there was the original hardwood floors, and the walls were disgusting, but I could see what it could look like, and I could see the potential. And so we took the opportunity to move downtown. 5 years ago, we opened on Black Friday, 5 years
Oh,
ago, so
wow.
2019. And it was a
And
very,
never turn back. Like you've done it
this
and it's just been
is
great.
it, we're home. This is the place that we're really meant to be. And again, just an absolute blessing to move downtown at that time. There was very few, but early murmurs of some far off distant illness in China. And
Right.
didn't think anything of it at the time, but little did we know that we would be going into one of the most challenging business years in our experience, and we were in the right place. We were absolutely in the right place, and we were very fortunate to, God was watching out for us, and we pivoted in our business just to make sure that we can continue to serve our customers, but we didn't ever have to lay anybody off, and kept taking care of shoppers that when they come in, and just kept right on going. It's been great.
How do you pivot with something like formal wear in a pandemic when so many people are now choosing to stay home? Where did you find your niche?
Yeah, so we moved to appointment only. And that way we knew that we could just control the flow of people coming and going from the business. And we really took cue from our shoppers as to, if they only wanted one other person in there, or if they wanted a person helping them if they're trying dresses on, or if they'd rather do it themselves. I mean, we really just had a lot of communication with our customers to make sure that they felt comfortable in the environment, and we knew that, the best way for us to do that was to be an appointment only. And that worked really well for us. Prom was a total loss, and that was really difficult.
Yeah,
Um,
I bet.
Massive loss in the business. And it really took about 2003 was or 2023 was really the first year that it felt like we were almost back to normal in terms of sales and purchasing experience. So that was a long one. It hurt for a while. But
Well, and plus summer wedding season. I mean, I would imagine that slowed way down. There might be still be a few people buying wedding dresses, but
yeah.
definitely not as many, I would imagine. Is
It
that
was
right?
interesting. Yeah, I mean, it was just different. It was, Nebraskans kind of will find their own way. And so I think that's also, fortunate for us that we are in a more rural area. So in terms of just restrictions and things like that, yes, there were venues that maybe couldn't serve because they would have such large, populations of people, but people didn't hesitate to just get married in the backyard or do something that
Right.
would be in their control. And so they just were like, this is our wedding date, and we're sticking to it. They maybe changed locations or decreased their guest count, but a lot of them just kept
Yeah,
going.
if you have the wedding, yeah. I mean, if I've been planning on getting married for a year or 6 months or however
Yeah,
long, like I don't want to cancel my wedding, right? Like people still want to get married.
right.
So
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
So we learned a lot, and I mean, everybody did. I think it was just what we also learned was um we had so much time with our kids. We like basically homeschooled them all together, and took them out to the river and did all these different activities, and we could still serve our customers. And so what our takeaway was, we don't have to work all the time. We can set
Yeah.
boundaries and be more particular about making sure that we're setting appointments, but we felt like we were better for our customers then too, because we had a little more downtime. So that was also a positive for us, of the takeaway. So.
Wow. So now, okay, just generally speaking, minus COVID year, that bad year for business, doggone it. Um, so when I think about formal wear stuff, so prom, wedding
Mhm.
season, is it like busy? Like what are the ebbs and flows of seasons of formal wear? I mean, there's always a season approaching, I'm sure.
Mhm.
So homecoming
Mhm.
right now for the
Yep, we're in
fall?
the middle of homecoming right now. And so our first homecoming was August 31st. And we will go all the way through the end of October. We'll have homecomings nearly every weekend, just,
Wow.
all over in the area. We have shoppers from all over the place because we're a university town. There are students that are coming in or prospective students coming in for campus visits. And so it's a great time because we've got the day off. They can come shopping. So we see a lot of traffic as a result. Um,
Hmm.
and people, because of our medical community as well, people will come in and they're doing therapy or, have a checkup or had surgery and they have to come back and do their checkup and things like that. So there's a lot of travel in and out of town that brings people in for the day. And so they'll come shopping with us. And so we really do have a pretty wide reach as a result of that. But yeah, so right now is homecoming season. And October for weddings, October and June are like our number one. I mean, they are busy, busy, busy with
Really? So
weddings.
October too, huh? People want their fall wedding, the fall colors and all of that.
Yeah. So the a mad dash of weddings. The high points really go June through October at this point. November comes in after, and what used to be maybe more traditional to have like an April wedding, it seems like that shifted a little bit.
To have a what wedding, did you say?
Have like an April wedding, like a spring wedding,
Oh, gotcha. There's less of that now.
to be kind of a tradition to do an April or May wedding. Now it's like any time of year. It kind of depends on your colors that you want to have for your wedding. So the timing of things has changed in the 10 years since we've been open. Which is I think just been really interesting and fun to learn and adapt. But prom, busy prom and bridal season hit at the same time. So January through April, we are open 7 days a week and we are running like crazy. It is
Just
busy.
busy.
We are packed full with all of our prom and bridal stylists. And we're very fortunate. We have a great staff of gals that work with us and, having teenage daughters work in the prom shop is really fun to be able to run our business with our daughters. So Jenna has a daughter named Macy who is right between my girls. So it's really fun. It's fun to have them all in there and they're learning about ups and downs of being a business owner, whether or not that's a path for them, that's, for them to decide, but at least they've seen the experience that we have. So,
So, I mean, okay, one thing that fascinates me about this though too is so many businesses, if you're purchasing a product, you
mhm,
go in, you get your product, and you walk out or whatever. This is very different. You have to get the right size. They're buying something for a big event, whether it's a prom or a wedding or whatever. And so they're buying it far in advance. But you must see the spectrum of people that are buying something really far in advance, or it's just like people that come in and it's something's in maybe a week or two, and you're thinking, "What are you doing?" Like, does that happen? Do you see? Is it the gamut of types of customers where you're like, "Okay, you're really pushing it here."
Yep, absolutely. And what we tell our shoppers is that we work on every time frame. We have had shoppers that have purchased gowns and get married 3 days later. Shop
Wow.
Jenna, I didn't even meet the shopper. Jenna said that she had someone that came in on a Friday and was getting married on Saturday. And what,
What? Really?
well, whatever whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy, whatever works for you in your relationship and is, what you have in mind for your day, happy to serve. So we also have people who have purchased for 2026 weddings. So
Oh, really?
yeah, yep,
Okay.
we'll do whatever time frame they want.
Okay. And then you do Texas too, right? Is that
Yep.
right? So you get the young high school boys that have like no idea what's going on. Is that the case?
Yep. Yep.
What do you
Yeah.
give advice to them? Is there anything you tell them on what they need to understand? Because I mean, they're 16, 17 years old and don't know anything or
Yeah. Well, and you get a lot more choice. There's more style than like when we were in high school and you just got the kind of baggy.
yeah, white, black pretty
Yeah.
much
And
is
that was
about
it.
all you had. Oh, I saw more style. Are you referring to just like different colors of tuxes now? Is that the
Colors and fit. So, just a more fitted, stylish, modern cut pant. So you'd be surprised that the guys will come in with a real specific look in mind. So we spend a little bit more time consulting, than even when we did when we first started. And they've got specific shoes they want to wear. And so they're pretty engaged in their
Are they?
style.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm not giving them enough credit then. So, and do they usually just pull up like a picture on their phone or like something like this? Is that what they're doing a lot
Often
of
will have
times?
examples. They will often have examples that they found online that they'll show, on Instagram or TikTok or something, and they'll come in and show it.
That's wild. That's
Yeah.
wild. And so, so that's the bridal shop world. You've got these clinics you're opening, hormone replacement places. Did I say that right? Hormone replacement
Yeah. So
or
hormone
hormone
therapy
therapy? Therapy is the right
for
word.
men
Okay.
and women. Yeah. Hormone therapy for men and women, which I think, particularly now, mid-40s, mother of three. I turned 40 in 2020 and I was like, I was lit on fire. And
Right.
oh, just like going through the experience myself, just aging, generally speaking, it has been really very interesting to see and learn from the other clinics just the results that people can have and how much better they feel when they are just supporting their own natural health. And I've never been one to be a big proponent of just taking like with medication forever. And, have had some health experiences of my own that, where I've had doctors say, well, you'll just take this prescription for the rest of your life. And that was not acceptable to me. I didn't want to live in that type of experience. And I was way too young to be put in that position. And so just really pursuing my own health goals, and having a husband who's very interested in it as well. That has been a great experience for us to continue to learn more, and ultimately what made us really interested in continuing to expand with our business partners. So women in particular, I think there's some bit of, I don't know, embarrassment or being afraid to speak freely about their experiences with their hormones changing and the impact that it has on them. And so I feel like with the network that I have here in Kearney, I can continue to influence women to pursue something that will really make a big difference in their life. And so it's been pretty incredible to
Would
just
that be a
already.
first of its kind in Kearney then? Would that be a first of its kind
There are
or
places that will offer hormone therapy, but where we specialize it and focus on that's really at the forefront, and we're the only one that is like, we are a hormone therapy
like
clinic.
that's what you do? Like that's your main thing, not just a part of
Yeah,
what you do.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. And then having the option for weight management, um, that does include things like semaglutide or tirzepatide, which people can use. In my opinion, people should be using it to get themselves to a point where they can become physically active, and pursue a healthy lifestyle and pursue healthy changes that will allow them to, once they lose weight that maybe has just been an overwhelming burden on their body, that then they can get to a place of a weight that they can be physically mobile and continue to pursue physical activity and make lifestyle changes like good food choices. And so the goal isn't that you're on something like that forever. It's that you're helping yourself get to a point where you can make the changes and continue the lifestyle that you need to be physically fit and healthy on your own. So I think that can be very influential in a person's experience just in terms of just happy and healthy living. So, but we also have things like a hair, skin, and nails shot that you can take that you just do once a month.
Really?
Yeah, so just there's some
I didn't
general
know
health
that.
things. People tend to be chronically low on vitamin D. So
Hmm.
being able to go in and get a vitamin D shot or B12, there's just some general kind of health support that you can get that's not a pharmaceutical. It's something that your body just needs and functions better when you've got the right balance.
Wow. That's wild. Okay. I like it. I like what I'm hearing. So I don't know about my nails, but I definitely could probably use it for other things. Get my running back on. I don't run as much as I used to, and so and part of that's just the energy level is just down. It's just kind of natural, and so maybe I need to be checking out some hormone
Yeah,
therapy.
yeah.
Yeah, really. So okay, you also teach classes
Mhm.
right now. What do you teach again?
So I have an ethics class, so junior and above. Uh, it's one of our it's one of our last classes that you take in the business administration degree program. Which is a really, I loved my ethics class in my master's program. And so that was really a joy to have the opportunity to teach that. We're talking about, just the 7 steps to ethical decision making, using, just real life cases of, where good people made bad decisions, and just really trying to help students understand that ethics, the value of ethics, and then sometimes the challenges of how do you identify what is ethical and unethical, or what could be ethical or unethical and legal and illegal. It just, really
Right.
providing with examples. So that's really been a great, a very interesting class to teach. And I try and, present different cases that help them really visualize what the experience is like. And the challenge that I set for them in the syllabus, it's everywhere in the class, is if you were the CEO, or if you were the owner, if you were the manager, what would you do if you were in the shoes of this person? How would you respond? What questions would you ask? And it's really an interesting class to
I
teach. And so,
bet. Well, and I bet you get just so many interesting responses. And I would imagine some students sometimes say some things that are so insightful. You're like, wow, how did you come up with something like that? So,
yeah.
yeah. So
Yep.
ethics, and then what did you say with the other ones again?
Yes. So I have it's a professional readiness class, and this is one of the classes that is really kind of the last thing that you take, whether it's the last class you take in your last semester before you graduate, or right before you would go into your internship class. The vast majority of our majors in the College of Business will require an internship through the university. And that allows us to ensure that our students are having an incredible experiential learning opportunity, learning about, not only the technical skill of their degree program, whether it's accounting or management or marketing or supply chain, whatever that is, construction management. But it's a hard thing to teach culture, and it's a hard thing to teach human capital management, and so getting them into a workplace and really helping them take the academics and the book and any of the book content that they've had and seeing it in real life, seeing it outside of a vacuum when all things are perfect. That is incredibly important. And so in this class, we go through their resume with a fine-tooth comb. We talk about situations for why you're using a cover letter. I mean, it's different now when you're applying for a job versus when we were graduating from college and applying for jobs. It's just a totally different world from the get-go, from how you meet
Yeah.
employers, how you apply, what they're looking for. And so we have to make sure that they're really prepared in a modern way. And that there's some traditional business professionalism that just we really help them get very comfortable and confident, because what we don't want to have happen is somebody goes out and the first interview that they do is the interview with the company they want to get hired by. So in our class, we talk about how we're going to get weird and say the weird things because we want to make the mistakes together in a safe place. And we want to talk about why we make those mistakes sometimes. So, we talk about things like you think you have a great answer, and then the words that come out of your mouth are not the words that are in your head. Sometimes you kind of
Yeah,
go,
absolutely.
you get nervous, right?
Yep.
So we talk about why you would practice ahead of time. And, I use the example of playing the piano. You don't just sit down at a piano and you can play Bach, or,
Yep.
you can't do it. You have to practice. And then that practice leads to muscle memory. And that muscle memory is what allows you to perform under pressure. Same thing with athletics. I mean, same thing with anything, really anything. And so being able to practice those skills of interviewing, responding to questions, asking thoughtful questions of the interviewer, practicing how you network. We want to practice how we have those conversations with professionals before our students go to things like our career fair where
Hmm.
they really need to be shining. So we go through a lot. We go through salary negotiation. We talk about total compensation plans. We talk about it
Wow,
all.
the whole gamut. Well, I know that's, it's interesting. I work at the university in Lincoln, and over for the years, there's some advice sometimes that I give to students. And one of those things I say is, when you're looking for a job, I'm like, here's the deal. If you've got the perfect job on paper, but you don't like your boss or the culture, you will hate your job. You could be perfect in a job description, but if you go there and you don't like who you're working for or who you're working with, you won't like it. I said, but on the flip side, sometimes there's jobs that maybe don't seem perfect on paper, but if they're close and you apply for it, if you have a manager there that you're going to respect and like and is going to help you grow, if it's a culture that you like, you'll probably really like your job and you might be really happy you went there. So often they're at this when they're young, they're at this age, they kind of just don't know what they want or what they need. And they need people like you and classes like that to just help them really think things through a little bit too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, the exploration is key and to help them get over the fear of committing to an organization, so that they can just really, they need to have those first experiences. That's the key, is just really getting into it, and it may not be the place that they stay forever. But they need to have those early experiences. And from an internship perspective, I mean, we just are absolute champions of internships. And statistically speaking, 40% of students will return to the company that they intern for. And they will also, on average, stay 5 to 6 years longer at that employer because they had that internship experience. And
Really?
they will also start $5,000 to $6,000 per year higher as a result of having that internship. I mean, they're paying themselves for having learned an experience, you know? And so
Right.
it's incredible. So, just making sure that they are ready for those early experiences and really thoughtful of those early experiences, which is why, we do things like weekly journals so that they're reflecting on their experience. That also allows us to help them have a guided experience and identify maybe something's going wrong, and we have the opportunity to step in and support them through that. Um, it's really important. But it's an incredible opportunity. So I just love to see the work that our students are doing. It's just amazing.
I have no doubt you would be an awesome instructor. So I know if I was a college student, I would love to have what do they call you? Professor Goecke, Mrs. Goecke.
I'm calling Megan.
Oh, Megan. Oh, little first name. Oh, well, how personal of you. Just
I mean,
first
I
name
just feel
basis.
like, otherwise I just feel like I'm too formal.
Yeah, yeah, no, I understand. So, well, couple just last little questions here. So you've done a lot of things business wise and teaching, and how many kids do you have again?
Three. Yep.
You've got
So
three
all of
kids.
this. McKenna is a freshman here at UNK. She is a music education major.
Oh,
So,
great.
for example, Spencer Hansen from our class is a music teacher in Lexington. And when we go out to the lake and he's playing out there, I always make sure McKenna can go and chit chat with him.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she plays the saxophone, which I played the saxophone in middle school. I didn't in high school because I was too busy swimming, but and my dad played the saxophone and my grandma played the saxophone. So she's just
Very
where
cool.
actually all the musical talent comes from my husband's side. She's incredibly musical. I can't carry a tune in a bucket, so she definitely has. So, and then Riley is, she's a sophomore and she is our dancer. She's just an incredible dancer. And Clayton is in 8th grade. And so he's our youngest. He's our 13-year-old giant. He is 6'3" and 205 pounds. And 13.
Are you serious?
He's a big kid. So he
You have a
loves football and he
13-year-old
loves
who's 6'3"?
boxing. And, yeah,
He loves what'd you say?
football, boxing, wrestling. He's a
Just any sport where he can be big, which like all sports are usually useful with bigger, like big, strong people. So
yeah,
wild.
yeah.
Okay, he's 6'3". I mean, so he's yeah, I mean you're pretty tall. He's outgrown you. You're not 6'3".
Nope, I'm not 6'3". Like I'm
No.
under 6 foot. So, oh
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. but
Taught me.
your husband's a really tall guy. I mean, you're a tall couple. I mean, you're right.
It would be weird if we had short kids. It would be strange.
It would
But my
be,
husband's mom is
but
5 foot.
what's that?
My husband's mom is 5 foot. My mother-in-law is five
Are you
foot
serious?
tall,
How tall is your husband?
6'6", six,
Oh my
seven.
gosh. 6'6", 6'7", like that range somewhere.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I can't believe you have a 13-year-old that's 6'3". That blows my mind. My
Yeah.
son is 12 years old. He's probably five. He's on the taller end. He's one of the taller kids in his class. But he's nowhere that tall. Actually, you know what the problem is with my son? He'll play basketball and he's like the tallest kid on his team. And he's kind of tall, but not like that tall. And when we play other teams, there's usually like 4 or 5 guys that tower over him. And so your son would be like that kind of kid where he would be playing and his coach would have him have to block someone like your son because he's the tallest kid. It's like he's got no business guarding. At that point, they may as well just go for the shortest kid on the team to try to like see if they can just be scrappy or something. I don't know what to do in that moment. So that's wild. Okay, so you've got your 3 kiddos, you're busy and all of that. You've had these businesses a while. What would you tell yourself or either to yourself or like an up and comer like business owner or whatever, like what would you tell yourself if you could go back? So you opened your business about 10 years ago. So let's say you were to go back like 11 years ago about what would you tell yourself or do differently as you were starting off your new business venture?
One of the things that I wished that I had done, I mean, I knew that I'd always been involved in management of business, but having to learn, like doing the books, like I wish I would have taken a lot more accounting. I chose it
Mm,
and I only had to take one math class. So I wish I would have spent some more time in accounting classes just
I
to
could see that.
be comfortable with even the basics of accounting when you're starting a business. I'm very fortunate that I have an incredible accountant and she lets me ask a lot of dumb questions and even can really dumb questions and she probably rolls her eyes at me when I send an email, but I'm so thankful for her. But I wish that I had spent a lot more time just having that personal knowledge so that I felt really confident that in just what I was looking at. And so I had to learn as we went. And so I made mistakes, things that cost me money, but you make more of it and you learn. So I would definitely,
I can yeah, I can
yeah,
imagine. And what else? Go ahead and finish.
I would definitely recommend people get really just very comfortable and confident, spend some time, like learn QuickBooks, take basic amount of, accounting classes or bookkeeping classes if you haven't done something like that. A lot of times entrepreneurs start something because they enjoy it, it's interesting, they're good at it, but maybe that they're not great in the business side of things. And so,
Right.
sometimes that's a tricky thing to do. So, you got to make sure that they've got a really a great support system around them and really being comfortable with the fact that you can't do everything and knowing that you can find a support system and build a support system for your business to allow you to be successful so that you don't have to do everything allows you to really elevate to a higher level of operation too, for sure.
I can imagine. I mean, I've never done any accounting like that either, but once in a while you'll be on a committee or a group and you'll kind of see these spreadsheets and these business invoices and all that. And a lot of times I'm just like, I don't quite understand what I'm looking at. It's surprisingly more confusing than you would think. And when somebody explains it to you, it seems like it makes so much sense. And then I
Mhm.
look at it later and I'm like, yeah, I have no idea what I'm looking at again. So it can be confusing.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah,
And
no
it's easy
doubt.
if you don't understand the numbers, then it's just easy to get in trouble.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Wow.
Mhm.
Well, this has been awesome. I feel like I could just like go on and just talk to you forever, but you're busy and you took time out of your busy evening to spend time visiting with me on this podcast. And I'm so excited that you were here and that we got to reconnect and talk again. So thanks so much for being here.
Well, thanks for the invite. It was wonderful to spend time with you and to connect. And even if we're not officially on a podcast, we need to probably just jump back on a call sometime and catch up.
I agree. I agree. Well, and I'll just add, I've always, I know in high school we were good friends, and just over the years again, it's more like Facebook friends checking in, but I'm glad we're Facebook friends because I'm glad to see kind of what you're up to. And you've always just been so nice and gracious. And I just knew that, you'd be like a perfect person to have on here for people to hear a little bit about your story and what's going on. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. All right. Megan, with that, thank you, and we'll sign off. How awesome to connect with an old friend. What an inspiring person doing great things back in Kearney. Megan, it was so great to connect with you. Thanks for taking the time. And for those of you listening, thank you for taking the time. I hope you have a good one and that you enjoyed this. This is How to Speak Nebraskan.